Congratulations on passing Phase 1 of Vykas, which up until now is the most mechanically challenging party-focused test in Lost Ark. If you are ready for more party puzzles, let's get on to Gate 2. Here's what you can bring to the second gate. Your strongest healing potions. Now, although not as punishing as Gate 1, the damage in Gate 2 can be high when you get hit by a full combo, especially on hard mode. You're going to need those time stop potions to get out of those sticky situations, and also dark grenades, as there are no stagger or destruction checks. So bring these dark grenades to maximise your DPS windows like staggers or counters. Classes or players who are great at countering like scrappers or lancers will make this boss go a lot smoother. Your best damage windows will present themselves after a counter. So this is not a complex fight with a lot to remember. There are 2 fixed party mechanics and puzzle tests that will wipe you if you don't execute them correctly. And the rest of the lethal abilities happen randomly, so you are going to have to pay some attention. Here's a breakdown of the fight by HP. X120 is a coloring test, the pattern test that will wipe the party if failed. X75 is the maze where obstacles will appear that must be dealt with or damage the player. X65 is Red Black Orbs, which is a memory test that will wipe the party if failed. Players can also die individually though if executed incorrectly. X35 is a main with cones, which is the same as before but with the added twist of some players having a debuff that harms other players when it goes off. The only summon you're going to need for this fight is Nineveh. P2 has a lot of HP and you'll need all the damage that you can get. Let's go over those scripted mechanics then. X120 is a coloring test. This is a test of the party's ability to see information, communicate that information, and act on the solution rapidly. Vykas will teleport to the centre and split into 3 cones. Each clone has a different pose, 2 wings open, 1 wing open, and no wings open. 5 spheres will appear in the centre of the arena. When consumed, the mark will appear on the top of your head. Depending on the mark colour and the number of each, everybody should move towards a specific clone before it explodes, then move to the second and third ones. We recommend 5 players take the orbs in the middle and 3 check which clone has which pose. When a player takes a sphere, one of 2 icons will appear on them. If 3 players get the red mark above them, then you'll need to go to the clones in this order. 2 wings open to start, then 1 wing open and end with no wings open clone. If 3 players got the purple mark, then it's the reverse. Go to the no wings open first, then 1 wing open and finally 2 wings open. So red is 210 wings and purple is 012 wings open. X75 is the maze, and technically this isn't a wipe mechanic, but the timing is scripted and it can be lethal. Vykas teleports to the centre, casting an explosive area around her with a few safe spots around. A blood wall rotates around her, pushing all players potentially into the unsafe zones too. Players have to use movement abilities and foresight to navigate the maze, or they'll just be killed. When in doubt, time stop can be a great lifesaver. X65 is the Red Black Orbs. Now this is a memory test. Players will have to remember the pattern they see at their designated location, coordinate and act on it. Individual mistakes will lead to death and potentially a party wipe too, so it's important to assign roles clearly beforehand. Vykas will teleport to the centre and summon her 3 clones. Each clone will perform a pulse for 2 colours 5 times, either its black circle or red square. Each clone will start throwing 5 orbs to Vykas in the centre in the same order that the black and red just pulsed. Players should block the black orbs and let the red orbs reach the boss. In this clip, the clone pulses black, red, red, black, black. This means players need to block the 1st, 4th and 5th orbs only. This may sound easy, but each orb gives a debuff and blocking a second orb will kill you, unless you use a time stop or a splendid panacea potion. If you take a wrong orb, then you're going to die. And if you allow black orbs to hit Vykas, you're also going to wipe after 2 orbs on normal mode and 1 on hard mode. Before this phase, assign your groups into 2 groups of 3 and 1 group of 2. The group of 2 will definitely need a potion though to help block. X35 is the maze with cones. So this is the same mechanic as earlier, except this time some players may have a debuff on them. This debuff shoots out damage in a cone in front of the player and leaves behind an orb that shoots stun bolts on specific intervals. Since you don't want these in the middle of the arena, the player should run to the edge and deposit the orb whilst using time stop to avoid maze mechanics. There's also some unscripted mechanics too. The purple donut is the cause for many party wipes when players don't pay attention. Vykas will mark a player with a purple crosshair and channel a cast that sends a donut to follow them. If any player touches this purple circle, it will explode immediately and kill everybody in its range. When you see the indicator, run away and let it follow the targeted player. That targeted player should lure it away to buy some time for your teammate to run to a safe spot. The only safe spots are far away from the explosion or right on top of it, so plan accordingly if you're not the targeted player. Time stop can also save you here, as getting hit is instant death on hard mode. Then you've got the laser carousel. Vykas teleports to the centre and jumps back, targeting each player with a laser beam. If you need to, you can assign positions for this, but if your team is good about spreading out, then you don't really need to. The important thing is to keep your laser beam away from your teammates whilst you also stay away from their lasers too. After a few seconds, the mechanic will end and a laser will shoot at your position. As long as you spread out and you're continuously moving, everybody should easily avoid damage here. Vykas will start a long channel too, where worms will spawn all over the arena. If the player is at the spawn location when a worm emerges, they're going to get eaten. Other players can break them out with damage, but if they fail, the player will die, and so potentially too will all players near the worm. Vykas would also raise her hands and start throwing many golden rings everywhere around her. If you get hit by one, you're going to get stunned and the ring will explode underneath your feet. Be careful, because several can pile on you if you're stunned, leading to humongous damage. Your best bet is to move far away and dodge. Vykas will debuff random players with a purple cone. After a few seconds, this will result in a cone-shaped explosion and an orb left behind. This orb will shoot out stunning bolts in intervals. If these orbs are dropped in the centre of the arena, it will make the fight too challenging and probably result in lots of deaths. The best thing to do is take the orbs to the sides where you can get the cone and wait for it to expire there. Vykas Gate 2 has a lot of basic attack patterns. Many of them can kill you on hard if you get hit multiple times in the same combo, so the potion use can rack up if you're not familiar with the patterns. We will go over 3 of the most important ones. The first part is the orbs. Vykas shoots purple orbs outwards at an angle on all sides. She then pulls everyone back in before knocking up. The safe spot is at the sides. Then you've got darts. Vykas shoots slow moving purple darts outwards from her centre. These darts spread forward, move back to the centre and shoot out the other end, repeating the pattern. You can get hit multiple times here if you're not careful, so sidestep the darts and watch them carefully. You've also got counter animations. You're going to need to counter Vykas to get good damage windows on her. Otherwise, you're going to feel like she's flying all over the place and you actually can't hit her. There are 2 main patterns to watch out for. Vykas starts throwing stagger circles using her kicks towards a player. Then she's going to turn blue, which is the counter indicator. Vykas moves back a few steps and turns blue, preparing to dash forward, and the counter window will open. Nail down those party mechanics, focus on seeing the individual threats like the donuts and the orbs, and work your way towards an easy kill. We wish you guys the best of luck and have fun.